Good morning everyone and welcome to VG Legends, the video game TV show which is totally, utterly, 100% not a ripoff of the TV show. In Megaman 10, you mega and bust through robots and rust with your trusty sidearm which has helped you for more than 3 decades. But for real, Megaman has used the Mega Buster since 1987, and whilst it's been upgraded since 87, I think it's finally time for the Mega Buster to get the vacation it deserves, as we answer the question, can you beat Megaman 10 without the Mega Buster? To most people, this sounds like an incredibly stupid question with an incredibly obvious answer. The Mega Buster is the first damage dealing weapon the player has at the start of the game. The 8 Robot Masters have weapons for Mega Man to copy, but since we can't attack, we can't dismantle them and get the weapons in the first place. So how will we complete this challenge? I'm glad you asked. Mega Man 10 has 3 DLC bonus stages, which are bundled in with the second Legacy Collection. These DLC stages are based on stages from the Mega Man Game Boy games, and fittingly have the 3 Mega Man killers as bosses, Enker in Stage 1, Punk in Stage 2, and Ballad in Stage 3. And as luck would have it, all 3 Mega Man killers have a weapon for Mega Man to copy. Enker has the Mirror Buster, Punk has the Screw Crusher, and Ballad has the Ballad Cracker. For this challenge, I'll only take the Mirror Buster because personally, I think it's the most interesting of the 3. The Mirror Buster creates a force field in front of Mega Man whilst the attack button is held down. The force field itself doesn't do damage, but can absorb enemy projectiles and reflect it back at the enemy, sort of like a reflector in Super Smash Bros. I do believe that this challenge can be done with the Screw Crusher, and maybe even to a better extent, but I didn't get it. Sadly, only Mega Man can copy these weapons, so you can't play as Proto Man or Bass in this challenge. Since the Mirror Buster is a special weapon, it has limited ammo. Every shot reflected uses 1 unit of weapon energy, which is important to keep in mind. As I said earlier, each of the 8 Robot Masters have a weapon for Mega Man to copy. These weapons will make some stages easier and some barely possible. The first stage we choose is important for my strategy to work. I need to find a W tank on the first level. A W tank fully restores a single weapon's energy to full. More on that later. To start, I chose Nitro Man's stage to do first. His stage is by far my favorite to do busterless, as there isn't many problems for us. Most of the enemies, save for a few, use projectiles, which make them easy prey for the Mirror Buster. And the ones who don't can simply be jumped over. On the 4th truck section, you can get a free E-Tank which fully restores Mega Man's HP. This will come in handy later on. When you get to this part here, you can grab some bolts, which will be a big help for the shop. Once you've got the bolts, jump down and land on this platform. Stand on this time bomb and trigger the horizontal one here, and then jump back onto the platform. Make a precise jump and you can grab the W tank. Sadly, afterwards, on this screen, you're going to have to damage boost twice through this guy here. You can use the E-Tank here, but I'll save mine for later. Other than that, the stage has no major problems for us. Once I got to Nitro Man, I made a realization. Remember how I said I needed a W tank for the first level? Well, here's why. As I said earlier, every projectile reflected by the Mirror Buster uses 1 unit of energy. And every stage boss that can be defeated with the Mirror Buster, other than Strike Man for some reason, takes 1 damage from the Mirror Buster. Meaning that for every Robot Master we can dismantle with the Mirror Buster, we're going to need a W tank to keep going. Once you defeat Nitro Man, we'll get the Wheel Cutter and the ability to move on. The fast Wheel Cutter will be especially effective against the heavy and slow Commando Man. These green drones in the level drop mini bombs on these antline enemies, causing the ground beneath them to fall and the antline enemies to throw explosives at you. When they're in the ground, use the Mirror Buster over the antlines to reflect the bomb. If the antline is already exposed, either jump over it or use the Mirror Buster in between its jaws. The stage has split paths near the beginning. The bottom path has a free E-Tank, so that's a path I'll be taking. Because the 2 shield attackers don't use projectiles, we'll have to use 2 wheel cutters for each. The sandstorms midway through the level blind you of the platforms and bottomless pits around you, and push you backwards or forwards. Find L's where you can run into the sandstorm without the risk of falling through a bottomless pit to guarantee safety. Sadly, Commando Man's bombs cannot be reflected with the Mirror Buster, so instead, use Wheel Cutter. Since it's a terrible idea to bring a knife to a gunfight, let's bring a gun to a knife fight against Blade Man. The turret enemies' projectiles can be reflected back at them, and you can defeat the axes with 3 Wheel Cutters each. Against the mini-boss, take out the bottom weak point first. If you defeat the top 2, the boss will stop using projectiles. Of course, I'm an idiot and don't follow my own advice. If this does happen to you, use wheel cutters and commando bombs instead. Blade Man will jump from the two walls of the room and the ceiling, throwing blades at you before jumping down in front of you. You can reflect the blades when he's on the wall, but sometimes, seemingly out of nowhere, the top or bottom blade will damage you, so be wary. Dismantling Blade Man gives you the triple blade. I seriously can't think of any good baseball puns other than 3 strikes and you're out, so let's just go on the Strike Man stage next. Strike Man stage isn't too hard if you can deal with the onslaught of 3 throws and overhead passes. Keep in mind that the soccer ball platforms need to be attacked to rise, so make sure to conserve the ammo of the wheel cutter and triple blade. The Keeper mini-boss is weak to the triple blades, so wait for his hand to hit the ground, jump on it, and attack his weak point. Unlike the other robot masters, Strike Man takes 2 damage from the Mirror Buster, so you'll only need half of his energy to get by. Defeating Strike Man gives both Rebound Strike and Rush Jet. After receiving a checkup from your arch nemesis, it's time to move on to Sheep Man. Fun fact! Sheep Man is possibly based on Philip K. Dick's science fiction novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? The stage's music track is even called Cyber Sheep's Dream, furthering the connection. When you get to the color disappearing block section, jump on the blocks in this order. Red, green, skip yellow, blue, jump as far as you can get away with, yellow, blue, and then grab the bolts. Or just use Rush Coil. Octobulb is weak to the triple blade, so once you power the platforms, spam the triple blades as much as possible. These orange turret enemies can easily be destroyed with the Mirror Buster, and it's pretty funny too. On the second Yoku block section, ignore the entire thing by using Rush Jet. After that, there's a free E-Tank, which in my opinion is totally worth dying for. Sheepman can be dismantled with the Mirror Buster, but just because you can doesn't mean I will. Sheepman's only projectile is this tiny little electro ball, which is near impossible to hit him with, so instead, use Rebound Strike like a cheater. Electric type attacks are super effective against water types, so let's go after Pump Man next. Pump Man stage is kind of like the opposite of Nitro Man's. There are lots of enemies who don't use projectiles, and the ones that do can be ignored. Just like Commando Man stage, once you get to the split paths, do the bottom path to snag an extra man and E-Tank. On normal difficulty, you can't use the Mirror Buster to beat Pump Man. However, if you're in hard mode, Pump Man throws his pump handle at you. That can be reflected, but I don't have hard mode yet, so for the meantime, I'll just use Thunder Wool. These cellular mitosis enemies can be effectively dealt with the triple blade, and these flower enemies' lasers surprisingly can be reflected. Suzak and Phoenix can be defeated with the Mirror Buster, but the triple blade is easily more effective here. After the latter ascent, you can use Commando Bombs to get another free E-Tank. Sadly, Solar Man is also not possible with the Mirror Buster, so just use Water Shield. To wrap up the 8 Robot Masters, it's time to go after Chill Man. This stage is easy, but gets progressively harder and harder the further you go. Whenever there's an ice block in your path, use triple blades to slash through. On this section, stay on the top half of the level. This will get you a free double E-Tank. Against the Stomper enemy, just do whatever you can. These guys are just really annoying. This snow section is very difficult. Water Shield has its uses here, but a mistake can be costly. Showman has a really nice and easy to dodge pattern, which makes him one of, if not my favorite boss in this entire playthrough. Just make sure your antivirus doesn't interfere though. Once you defeated all 8 Robot Masters, it's time for the Wily Hospital stages. These are 4 super difficult final stages which you must do back to back. Unless you use save states like I did. Weapon energy does not recharge after finishing a level, so to stand a chance, you'll need to buy E and W tanks. I recommend buying around 8 W tanks and spending the rest on E tanks. In Wily Hospital 1, all of the weapons Weapon Archive uses except for Flame Man's weapon cannot be done with the Mirror Buster, so instead, use their weaknesses. Elec Man is weak to Wheel Cutter, Wood Man is weak to both Triple Blade and Wheel Cutter, Gemini Man is also weak to Wheel Cutter, Ring Man is weak to Solar Blaze, Napalm Man is weak to Rebound Strike, Flame Man is rendered completely harmless with the Mirror Buster, Slash Man is weak to both Chill Spikes and Commando Bombs, Frost Man is also weak to Commando Bombs, and finally, Tornado Man is weak to Thunder Wool. Keep in mind that for the Chill Spike, Commando Bomb, and Thunder Wool, the weakness hit only counts for indirect hits, meaning the actual spikes that the Chill Spike makes, the wave of the Commando Bomb, and the lightning that the Thunder Wool uses. Next is Wily Hospital 2. This stage is hard regardless if you're doing it Busterless or not. but ironically enough, there aren't many problems for us in this stage. You can now deal with this enemy using 2 solar blazes, and you can use commando bombs over here to grab another E-tank. Later in the stage is an M-tank. This restores everything to full, which will be very, very useful later. In this level, there are rematches against Octobulb and Sudak and Phoenix, so make sure to save energy with the triple blade. Crab Puncher's bottom eye is easy to deal with. Wait for Crab Puncher to spit its bubbly froth and reflects it right back at the eyes. The top weak point is much harder to hit, so just use commando bombs, which are its weakness. Wily Hospital 3's main gimmick are the elevator shafts with spikes. I recommend watching a video beforehand to know exactly what's above. My tip is mainly to avoid moving the platforms as much as possible. This room after the second elevator shaft looks intimidating at first, but using Rush Jet and Mirror Buster, this room actually is a lot more intimidating than it looks. Use commando bombs to break this wall, take the ladder down, and grab the E-tank and weapon energy pickup. Welcome to Hell. Population? Block. Block Devil definitely lives up to its name, but out of all the devils, this is the easiest to tell graph. Here's a document which shows which blocks end up where. Once Block Devil is formed, its core will appear, and sadly, it can't be damaged by the Mirror Buster. This one was really sad because out of all the bosses, I hope this one would be possible with the Mirror Buster the most. Yeah, I know, I'm a psychopath. In Wily Hospital 4, all 8 Robot Masters are back for revenge. This is where I recommend using the M-Tank if you didn't already. If you don't have it, I recommend filling up Water Shield, Thunder Wool, Rebound Strike, and Wheel Cutter. This is to deal with Solar Man, Pump Man, Sheep Man, and Commando Man respectively. After that time-consuming mess, it's time for Wily Machine 10. Wily Machine 10 fires large blue missiles which act as platforms, and pink small ones, which can be reflected. Aim for the top part here, as this is where you attack it. Once you defeat the first phase, this challenge is basically complete. Wily Machine 10's second phase cannot be damaged at all with the Mirror Buster. Its weakness is Water Shield, so use the remaining Water Shields you have left to damage it. We're not done yet though. Wily plot twists us all the way out of orbit and into space for the double final level, Wily Hospital 5. This is by far the easiest stage in the entire game, as it's simply a short walk to the final boss. Pick up and use the other M-Tank and move on to Wily Capsule 10. This boss has an easier pattern than even Nitro Man. If you attack the fake Wily, it'll counterattack, so make sure to attack the real one. The fake Wily has a red triangle on its head and grey skin. The real Wily also sometimes sneezes. The first attack can be avoided by simply weaving in between the balls. Just keep in mind the low space gravity can cause some problems. On the second attack, pay attention to how high the projectile starting off is. If it travels across the ground, hide on one of these lines, then the middle, and then the lines. It's the other way around if it's in the air slightly. Middle, line, middle. Do not run out of ammo with the Chill Spike. Wily Capsule 10 can only be damaged by either the Mega Buster or the Chill Spike. With Wily defeated, the threat from space eliminated, and the Mega Buster getting its well-deserved vacation to Dr. Light's repair lab, the Megaman 10 Busterless Challenge is mission complete. Oh man, it's been so long since I last uploaded to this channel. If you couldn't already tell, this is a parody of Game Champ 3000's VG Myth video series. He is very talented, and I definitely recommend watching his videos. I would also like to thank the person who wrote this on the Megaman 10 Wikia page, as this is what started the entire challenge. You are the MVP. If you want to see this challenge but with the Screw Crusher instead, like this video and subscribe. As always, this has been BlueCyndaquil signing off. Over and out.